And also, I'd like to express our appreciation to Reverend Lindy for being so kind to you for us to use this platform. Otherwise, we won't have the session. And thank you everyone for being here as well. I think I would like to commend everyone because this is always a taboo topic. Something like inviting the elephant to the room, I was told. I just learned the phrase recently. And but it's something that probably is inevitable to talk about. And Geshe has been very kind, say yes immediately to our request. Before we start asking questions, Geshe, can you please guide us in setting the right motivation and maybe do tea or coffee offering, a quick one, if that's okay?
Sure.
Sorry, have we start recording, Reverend Lindy?
Yeah. So, yeah, take a moment to feel the presence of all your spiritual gurus and all the past, present, future Buddhas. Then feel the place where you are, or entire world blessed by those Dharma relics. Then also feel the presence of infinite sanghas existence. And knowing the enlightened qualities of the Buddhas and the content of the Dharma, which is altruism, and the sanghas that will preserve the altruistic Dharma by following the Buddha's examples. That oneself get inspired, because the essence of that is to bring only benefits to the cause of numberless sentient beings' happiness, starting from you, without any bias. So it's truly inspiring, to know that this is the quality of what means by Buddha, what means by Dharma, what means by Sangha. Then oneself inspired to follow that path and eventually become just like them. So therefore, even this session to be causes and conditions for that. In short, may our time be as a positive contribution to the world through your positive energy of your altruistic mind and your virtuous being. So in that way, we should all feel how fortunate that we have time for this. All of us able to come together for such purposes. So feel fortunate, feel grateful. Giving even just this as a reason to feel life is meaningful. Life is serviceable to the world and to the sentient beings' happiness. Yeah, so this is the motivation. Thank you.
So we have asked that to do the
Oh, yes.
form.
Sorry.
Oh, yes,
I need to do the offering, isn't it? Your coffee offering. Okay. Yes. For those who already consume, you offer to the inner Buddha, okay? So we do the traditional offerings. I will recite the prayer. Omo ahung, omo ahung, omo ahung. Lai mo sai ge la che de je ma ge de Oi ye je bo la de la mo ya na ma la che ba Omo ahung, omo ahung, omo ahung. Thank you very much, and cheers to everyone.
So everyone, please enjoy your tea and coffee while we have this chat. So I'll start by asking the first question, and all of you can please ask any question if you have one later.
I'm finally here.
Hello, Caroline.
Hi,
Just
Pai.
started. Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Geshe. How are you?
Hello, Carolyn. How are you? I'm
I'm
good. Thank
good.
you.
Glad to see your face again.
Yes. Okay.
You've been well?
Yes. I'm good. Thank you.
Great
I
to
don't see
hear.
your face, but okay, I see your name now.
Oh, you don't need to see my face. It's all right.
I visualize.
Yeah, visualize. That's good.
Okay, I'll start with the first question, Geshe. So death and dying, I think, is such a important but yet maybe difficult topic. At first, I thought it's only in Asia where I come from. It's a taboo. People try not to, talk about on dinner table or anything like that. But I think here in Australia, perhaps maybe also many people still try to avoid the topic. So perhaps some of us here may not be Buddhist, but whether Buddhist or not, maybe Geshe can share with us why is it important to talk about and reflect on the death and dying.
Okay. Yeah. So, generally, the topic on the death and dying is almost like everywhere in actual fact. It sometimes happens within our own family, sometimes happen in the neighborhood, sometimes happen, almost everywhere. And we hear about that from the news, from the word of, people walking around. And more than that, the actual fact is, every single moment, there's so many beings are dying. Anyone who are born with a physical, generally with with samsaric aggregates, in particularly, very obvious, in the obvious observation, those who take physical aggregates like a human body, then how many people, how many people we celebrate of their being born, that many number of people, in fact, if not more, that many number of people dies, isn't it? That many number of people dies, and maybe you might be not talking about the term death, and I might be not talking about the term death, but there's someone around somewhere, definitely, that is the hottest topic, because in people's life, experience death frequently. So from that point of view, I think, it is something normal, natural thing. And I think we should talk naturally. We should have conversation about that without this superstitious kind of thinking that would bring some inauspiciousness, etc. So that's one thing. Then, from the spiritual point of view, in particularly from the Buddhist spiritual point of view, and death and dying topic is, in fact, is a number one topic. In fact, it's the most favorable topic. In fact, it's the most auspicious topic. from Buddhist teaching point of view, is one of most auspicious topic. One of most encouraging topic. After taking the contaminated aggregates, if there's no point of dying from it, discarding from it, then samsara would be ultimate, isn't it? And from one glance, from one point of view. But here I'm not. When I refer to the auspiciousness, the importance of the topic on death and dying from Buddhist spiritual point of view, I'm talking mainly about as a one of the basis, or one of the main force to make our spiritual practice more genuine, more concentrated, more productive. Is very much one of motivational conversation, or motivational wisdom, or motivational understanding to really make our spiritual practice most meaningful. So therefore, in Buddhist, in Buddhist teaching, in all aspects of teaching, in particularly that what do you call the entire Buddhist teaching, condensed into the complete gradual path in Lamrim, the topic on death and dying, regarded point where that you actually start to genuinely practice the Dharma, genuinely take off into the path to liberation, or path to enlightenment. In another word, the whole Buddha Dharma practices, in fact, is to prepare for the death, prepare for good death, prepare for meaningful death, prepare for successful death. Prepare for that death to be the last death from these contaminated aggregates. And from that onward, that we able to actualize the immortal life, which is called the Vajra life. You can also call the life of enlightenment. No more control of karma or delusion or suffering. You see, so death, in fact, gives the natural opportunity to utilize those benefits if you are well prepared for the death. See, if you are ready for the death, if you are spiritually ready for the meaningful death, then you can able to utilize those natural occurrence of unbelievable, favorable opportunity like clear light. There's one particular word, particular practice called the practice of clear light, or taking death onto path. The opportunities are so amazing and so great that during the natural experience of clear light, that individual spiritual practitioner right there even can able to actualize full enlightenment. There are even such opportunities are provided when the death occurs. And the clear light occurrence in our lifetime, it is almost like a star in the daytime. It is so rare. Unless you have great higher trainings, then you may able to activate in the arising of that clear light. Then there you can able to actualize the enlightenment. Otherwise, when we pass away, when we experience the transition of life to the occurrence of death, the clear light is like a natural process. Without effort, it comes in our way. So why this clear light is so important? Why the focus is there? Even so wonderful. I mean, so meaningful about the subject on the death is very much because of the utilization of the clear light onto the path. So clear light is mind. Clear light is in fact is just a wisdom aspect of the mind. And that wisdom aspect of the mind, among entire consciousness or the mind that we have, is the subtlest state of the mind, the most subtle state of the mind. That subtle consciousness, that subtle clear light, that subtle mind, which is clear light mind, carry the natural quality of clarity, natural quality of uncontrolled by delusion, unclouded by the obscuration like delusions. It is nature in the voidness of tying onto any kind of bondage to any conceptual thoughts, conceptual confusions, hallucinations, including delusions, is a completely clean, clear. In fact, is no different than Buddha's the enlightened mind. No difference. Is very much like a clean mirror. Clean mirror. If you have a correct tool to hold that mirror and mirror to entire universe can reflect in that mirror, isn't it? How small it is. It's like one small mirror. You go around let's say in the room, go around, entire room can be reflected in there, isn't it? If you have the idea and the tool to, bring around the mirror around your house or around the universe, rather than say the mirror is so small, how can I able to get the image of the entire 360 degrees of my room? How possible this such a small mirror which I can even put in my small pocket? How can I able to reflect the whole world? But if you use the tool of your capability to travel around the world and you carry that mirror everywhere you go and you reflect, the entire world can be reflected, isn't it? So at this stage, our clear light mind is very much like that small mirror. But if you have the tool of, the Dharma teaching, how to utilize that clear light, then that mirror, that small mirror, become an omniscient mirror, like a Buddha's mirror. That's why we say the clear light is no different than the Buddha's omniscient mind. It's because of that, you see. So therefore, when we start to accept the process of death as a natural process, and on top of that, as long as we understand the characteristic of the characteristic and the potential of our most subtle state of the mind, which is the clear light mind, then we learn the techniques that discuss, from a common part of Buddha Dharma, the technique that which discussed from the tantric aspect of Buddha Dharma, like such as a common part of Buddha Dharma, like 5 powers, like altruism, taking as altruism. If you read in the 7-point thought transformation, the Lojong teaching, there you will find the 5 powers. So that is the common the technique, the tool that how to utilize your clear light mind to the maximum benefit. Now, if you go to the uncommon part of Tantra, then through the generation and completion stage of the tantric practice, generation and completion stage of tantric practice, in particularly in relation to highest of the tantric deity yoga practices, then you can take the clear light to actualize Dharmakaya part, clear light, the death experience into actualizing the wisdom bodies of the Buddha, the Dharmakaya. There you enlightened. You see, if you don't have such a fine training that until you can able to actualize full enlightenment, Dharmakaya, but at least you can utilize to actualize the wisdom of emptiness. Those who have not realized emptiness during lifetime in your spiritual practice, then when you experience the clear light characteristics are exactly the characteristic of emptiness. The clear light mind, actually exist and also occur to our perception in the void of any any conceptual bondage, like inherent inherent conceptual bondage to its nature of the clear light. The true existing conceptual bondage into the actual nature of the clear light. It is absolutely pure and void of any bondage. So when individual realize emptiness, a similar experience when the natural clear light occur to the spiritual practitioner. So when you are familiar through learning, through Dharma, when you are familiar the characteristic of clear light, and also you learn about this vastest wisdom, or wisdom of emptiness, or wisdom of no self. When we pass away, the natural occurrence of clear light introduced to you without any effort that, oh, emptiness is like that. I know what is emptiness. Now I'm experiencing it. You see? And that experience is not by our distracted conceptual awareness. That experience is experienced by the subtlest mind, because that person's mind, when you are in the clear light state, your awareness are the subtle awareness, not a gross awareness. So easy to get distracted, That clear light awareness is a subtle awareness. So subtle awareness has its power to, stay concentrated, to able to penetrate to its root without any influence of any distractions. So that way, the practitioner who know about emptiness and who know about the characteristic of clear light, when they pass away, when they occur the death, they take the opportunity to realize emptiness there. You see, even that is not possible, or, to the weakest practitioner, to the loudest practitioner. At least using the altruistic wisdom to utilize the clear light experience as a very virtuous clear light. It's kind of bridge from continuum of this life to the greater, more favorable life in the next life. Because during the clear light experiences, you actualize the the most the very last very final moment of completing the concluding karma, or the completing karma. Means by then that you're able to complete all the karmic causes that which will determine what kind of rebirth one going to take. You see, so if we are in a lifetime trained, at least always motivate in loving kindness, compassion, always perform action lead by loving kindness, compassion, very much our life dedicated to loving kindness, compassion, and at the time of dying, also let go of all the graspings in our life, accept the death, and prepare for the journey, and try to concentrate on what most meaningful, which is to fill our heart with loving kindness, compassion, or altruism, bodhicitta, or emptiness wisdom. And that influence, when at the time when we are experiencing clinical death, when just before our breathing completely stop, already kind of prepared. When we have some little awareness, then try to stay focused on those virtuous mind. Then when we occur the clinical death, we are still carry on the mindfulness of the wisdom or the bodhicitta that you have familiarized before. Then that will gradually carry on until to the clear light mind. You see, then when the clear light mind depart from this lifetime's aggregates, then our intermediate state will be virtuous intermediate state, because the clear light, up to clear light, was introduced by the virtuous mind. And the clear light itself is the most forceful continuum that which will join the intermediate state mind. You see, so that intermediate state mind will be virtuous. And the intermediate state mind is the direct connecting point to the first moment of the mind of the new rebirth. So the new rebirth is very much result of the virtuous karma, because we say, in Buddhist understanding, the rebirth is a production of past karma. So the direct karma, the direct cause, is the mind of the intermediate state being, the consciousness of the intermediate state being. So since the intermediate state beings, the consciousness is virtuous, that directly influence the first mind of the newborn baby or new conceived baby in the womb is a virtuous one. See, and since the first the influence of the conceived baby's mind as a virtue, then if that little baby nurture properly, guide properly, then throughout this person's life will be amazingly virtuous life. You see, so there's like the thread, connection after connection, like mala, one after connection, all the way up to our present spiritual practice. You see, so so therefore, so this topic is unbelievably yummy. It's one of the most favorite topic, and for those serious practitioners, Kadamba masters like Lama Atisha, the Indian Pandits, Lama Tsongkhapa, for them, if one morning they didn't talk about death, if one morning they didn't think about death, the whole morning they regard life is wasted. So is it? So during enjoying a cup of tea, if they didn't think about that, that period is wasted. For them, is regarded as a wasted, because when you don't think of death, very much that our minds are very much occupied with many other things, directly or indirectly, most likely will be occupied by this life's concerns. You see, when you think about that, directly or indirectly, either you are directly right there that you are cultivating the path, or right there you are motivating to cultivate the path. It's very much, either will let you to prepare for the death, or you are ready for that. You are ready to experience the death. You are fully ready to experience the death. You see, so by doing so, when such practitioners, when the death occurs, or any sign of death, let's say sickness is one of the signs of death. You see, or doctor pronounced that you don't have much time to live, or our natural age. In this world, in today's time, I don't think anybody live more than 150 years old. I don't think so. Maybe one or two, maybe. And mostly pass away around within hundreds, 80, 90, mostly. So roughly, that, okay, my age is, up to, it's quite near to so-called death. Then for such a good practitioner, when they hear the sign, when they know that death is coming in their way, they get excited. They feel so wonderful. They feel confident. They feel joy. I usually give an example of the children's expecting the Christmas gift, the New Year, the New Year if, or maybe birthday if, expecting there will be plenty of birthday presents, Christmas gifts, New Year gifts or whatever, so feel what's it? So anyway, so the someone that who meditated well on the death, who understand the meaning of the death, and who have well prepared to actualize the good death, then the best practitioner, they rejoice. They feel so excited. They feel so happy for the journey, because they know what kind of rebirth they're going to take, and those, the number one, the best one, they know that just matter of a few days, I'm going to get enlightened. I'm going to actualize Dharmakaya using this natural clear light, which is coming in my way. Whole life I tried many methods, but didn't work. But now, few days only to wait, and few days, can't wait. Can't wait. Few days, natural platform for me to actualize Dharmakaya. See, if not, at least, emptiness. Wow, the greatest wisdom of Dharma. I just need to wait few days. I don't even have to go to cave. I don't even have to go into retreat. Just wait few days. The clear light, natural clear light is in my way. Become Arya being, purify karma. You see, if not, at least life have no regrets and some sense of confidence that I will know how to focus on the virtue like loving kindness, compassion, altruism, and next rebirth, including intermediate state, and the next rebirth is secured. You see, so. So the Kadamba masters are saying that the best practitioner, look, no regret plus look forward. Then the middle one, the first one is like overjoyed. The middle one, no regret, and the last one, at least don't fear. Don't fear about the death. You see, yeah. So Buddhist. So for Buddhist practitioner point of view, the topic on death and dying is very, very crucial, very, very important. And for general, I think this topic should discuss. As long as we know, as long as we educate each other to accept, it's like a natural process. I think when the actual death comes in our way, it's easier to, I think, process. I think easier to go through. Both the dying person as well as the family members, the carers around. So I believe something like that.
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you for making this so enjoyable, auspicious, and I can visualize the yummy chocolate cake or something. And from that explanation also answered the other question that I have about how to face the fear of death. So I think that would cover that as well. I'd like to bring up the topic on euthanasia, voluntary assisted death. I think several countries or even several states in Australia already legalized that. And that, again, is a very controversial issue. And even within the Buddhist community, I believe everyone hold different views. And perhaps we'd like to understand a bit more from Buddhist point of view, even whether or not it will be allowed based on compassion reason. And then later on, each of us can make our own choice, what beliefs we like to hold. And yeah, someone like to say something? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So this topic, euthanasia, is a very, very challenging topic, and very, very serious topic, and it's not an easy thing to answer. So from Buddhist teaching point of view, the decision, the Buddhist stand, towards euthanasia, very much based on a few areas of understanding about life and death, and about karma, about suffering. So based on that, then you make the decision, or you take the standpoint. So first of all, why people choose to take the path of euthanasia, or end your life, before the natural occurrence of the death. The main reason is this is my understanding. I could be wrong, but main reason for these individuals maybe to end the suffering. So that might be the main reason, to bring end to the suffering. If this is the reason, then from Buddhist understanding, the ending the physical, life doesn't end. The living doesn't end. Living doesn't end by discarding the physical aggregates. Living doesn't end by stopping the breath. Living doesn't end by stopping the function of brain, and nervous systems, and the blood flow, etc. Living doesn't end there. So who suffer the suffering? The living beings suffer the suffering. Not the body. Living being is the one who suffer the suffering, not the body, because body is not the living being, isn't it? The body is just one of the bases where you designate as a person. You see, so the person is suffering, not the person's body is suffering. We call my body is suffering. That's true. Your body got wound, so your body is suffering. But who really is suffering? The person is suffering. Not just the body alone is suffering. If you cut the body and put aside, the body doesn't suffer. You see, in order body to suffer, there need to be feeling. isn't it? So the feeling is attached to the consciousness. It's a feeling, fundamentally attached to the consciousness. The feeling has numberless degree of feelings, from gross to subtle. You see, and we can only detect, even the science, medical science, how advanced the medical science may be, they can only detect a very gross level of feelings, gross level of the connection, the connection, the feeling, connection to the mind, very, very gross level. You see, so when you further investigate, how far, how deep the feeling relation lies on, the feeling, in fact, the relation lies on our consciousness, and most of all lies on our subconsciousness. You see, all the way to subconsciousness. You see, so as long as the consciousness, as long as the continuum of the being is as long as the continuum of the being is under the bondage of delusion, under the bondage of karma, again delusion, infinite numberless delusions, gross to subtle. Okay? Karma, numberless, inconceivable, from gross to subtle. As long as the continuum is still infused or under the control or under the influence of the karma and delusion, the person continue to suffer. You see, so therefore, since your body is not the person, by discarding body, that's not the way to end to the suffering. So that's one point. Just stopping the breath, since your breath is not you, since your breath is your not continuum, by end to the breath doesn't mean it's end to the suffering. You see, so as long as karma carry on, delusion carry on, wherever you're born, whether you is continue to remain as a wandering spirit, even before going into the intermediate state, after your breath is stopped, after clinical death, you suffer. Even you're able to travel through intermediate state, is unbelievable, tremendous suffering at the intermediate state. Even you're able to take rebirth, let's say maybe rebirth, slightly better place, could be God or demigods, continue to suffer. You see, because you are still under the bondage of karma and delusion. Your continuum, yourself is continuum. Yourself is continue to be bondage, influence of karma and delusion. Wherever you're born, how tiny body you're born, how big body you're born, whether you're born as a formless or whether you're born with the form, whether you're born with the glory, whether you're born with all the wrong features, whatever, as long as we are not free from karma and delusion, we will be reborn within the sixth realm of self-existence, continue to suffer. So therefore, my answer is, if the euthanasia, or even like suicidal, many of the suicidals, suicidals are also, people suffer, that's why they want to end to the suffering, that's why they take the suicidal, they suicides. Many, there could be many other reasons, but one of the major reasons why people suicide, before their natural time of death, they put themselves to die, is to end to the suffering. So in Buddhist understanding, on the basis of what I explained before, suicidal is not bringing end to the suffering. Euthanasia also not bringing end to the suffering. You see, so that's one aspect. So that's one aspect. Now, if you explain for the another aspect in Buddhist understanding, this human life regarded unbelievable precious. You regard it, it's almost there's no greater precious than this human container, the human existence. This human body is like a wish fulfilling board. It can bring to the highest destination of enlightenment. You see. So in particularly, I think the suicidals and euthanasia, I think mainly is a human action. I don't think the animal do that for themselves, euthanasia, or suicidal among animal by themselves, isn't it? I don't think so, and I don't think that happened in the hell realm. I don't think that happened in the Holy Ghost. I don't think that happened in the God realm. I don't think that happened in the demigod realm. I think human, human realm. We humans have these funny ideas, have these amazing ideas, or this complicated ideas, intelligence, whatever, bring about all this suicide, get to suicide, I hate my life, get to suicide, or I'm in suffering, I get to suicide, or this is too much suffering, please help to end my life, like euthanasia, etc. So now, the preciousness that we human beings have, the precious opportunity, the precious intelligence, the preciousness with all the such as, in Buddhist teaching, the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, very clearly discussed. 8 freedoms and 10 endowments. Okay, if there are anybody new to Buddhist, you Google it, 8 freedom, 10 endowment will pop up immediately. Our life, your and my life, have all those 8 freedoms and 10 endowments. So now that 8 freedom and 10 endowment, even you born as a god also don't have. Even you born as a demigod also don't have. You see, there's no question about if you're born as an animal and born as hungry ghost and born as a hell being. No, not possible. Only the human rebirth. You see, and this preciousness and this freedom has such a power that it can deliver one lifetime freedom from entire causes of suffering and entire oceans of suffering. Causes of suffering, like entire delusion, ignorance, this intelligence, this human body have the capability to end to the anger, which we really don't like it, isn't it? Anger. We have the capability to end to the anger. We have capability to end to the attachment grasping. We have capability to end to the ignorance. You see? And we have capability to end to that's something that control our life. That's something that manure our life, which is the karma and the delusion. In our life, there's so many things we want to achieve is not coming in our way. So many things we do not want to have coming in our way. These are someone is driving us, which is karma and delusion. And this human body, this human life has the capability to end to that control freak. End to that control freak. Is it? This human body has that capability, not the God, they have, is it? You see? So, now, you see, so that's another very important point. You see, the capability to achieve enlightenment, capability to achieve liberation, even how worse practitioner you may be, you can at least plan for your better rebirth next life. You have that capability, next better journey, next life. You see? Okay, that's one point. Another one point. So that's one another point that I wanted to say. I suddenly disappeared. What is that? Mm, mm. Yeah. So.
We can just keep talking.
Yeah. Keep talking. To talk too much until slip off. That's one very important point, but slip off. Okay. Yeah, precious human rebirth. Yes, precious human rebirth. Yeah. Okay. So you see, so human life. Okay. Another. That's now coming. Okay. Any suffering that we experience in this life, if we have a wisdom, if we just acknowledge it, sorry, maybe not even need to acknowledge it, and not even need to understand it. Any suffering that we go through in our life, sickness or whatever, everything are experience of purification of our past negative karma. Even how nasty suffering that we go through, how many problems that we go through, even the problem and the suffering that it is really go up to the uncontrollable, the peak, until say, please euthanasia me, give me medicine and put me off. From the Buddhist understanding, all those suffering experiences are the result of definite karma of the past. Without you experiencing it naturally, or without experiencing in the natural environment, let's say in our human environment, the natural environments are, we have the karma to have a doctor, karma to have a medicine, karma to have a, care, like palliative care, nursing homes, etc., etc. All these are also can regard as a natural environmental facilities. Then, but not kind of choose to end your life there. Rather you get all those help, but then let it pass away naturally. Let it pass away without kind of, okay, I must put you injection and let you die now. Not like that. Then when the death occurs, the past definite karma, karmic result, the karmic result that's similar to the cause, which is supposed to experience during that human life, will able to completely experience and purify it. If you full stop before the natural death occur, the karma still carry on, and you may take another human life. Then you have to pay. You have to continue to complete that karma. So just matter of time. You're just like prolonging. You're just kind of like giving some break only. You are not really ending to the suffering. You are just taking a break only. Now, on top of that, Buddhist understanding is when you take the break, if you are unable to take the break in a better place, let's say another better precious human rebirth where you can accumulate a lot of antidotes and purify the karma. If in case you happen to take the break in the lower realm, like a hell being, animal being, hungry ghost, there's no opportunity to gather antidotes. Then with the environmental, the force of the negativities in the lower realm, the longer you prolong that karma that previously you have not completed, it will become more intense. It become longer in future times to experience. You see, because karma in Buddhist understanding, karma has a capability to increase, multiplies. You see, the more you multiply, also the degree, the intensity also intensifies. You see, so the quicker that you experience is better. Quicker the complete the karma, purify it is better. The longer that you live, even you able to take a nice break in between, it is not helpful. It can go wrong. Even it can go wrong more. Oh, you see? So from that point of view, in Buddhist understanding, don't accept the euthanasia. And no question about accepting the suicidings, all these things, cannot accept because of understanding of how karma works. So the natural process is still much more greater benefit to the person's journey of life than the harm. If you are the one that you initiate to end the life before the natural death, you also may create a karma of causing a life of sentient being. Even though it's your life, but you are one of the living being. In Buddhist principle, you cannot cause life of any living being. No question about human. Not even the ants. You see, not even cockroach. How disturbing they are. You see, in Buddhist principle. You see, so if yourself say, okay, make me die, you initiate it. You have to bear the karma of that too. So from that point of view, there's a disadvantage of taking that initiative. If you ask your loved ones to make the decision, then that's even greater seriousness, because you are even causing life of someone else, another human being. We assume, if I end to this person's life because he is in so much pain, he have no ability to talk, he have no ability to guide us, so I will make a decision for him to end the life. So from that point of view, Buddhist stand is, no to euthanasia. So that's one thing. Now, exception. There's some exceptions. If you are deciding to do the euthanasia, through overwhelming compassion to your family members, not because you want to end to the suffering of yourself. Knowing, having full understanding of all the valid reasons that the sickness that what oneself is going through is incurable. Is very much like going to be vegetable like that. It's no way, and totally have to rely on, mission. And no way that's the doctor, the professionals, they 100% can guarantee that this person will not wake up at all, and it has to be sustained a life with the mission. Then let's say myself, if I make a decision that I want my family to make a decision for euthanasia for me, if I get into that position, 100% nowhere to cure, but with the mission I may live, but also so much expenses, so much hardship for the family members, or the caretakers, financially, emotionally, but at the same time, it's 100% sure that cannot revive. And then with the clear concern of the well-being of the rest of the family, and clear condition that yes, professional make 100% signature that no way will revive. Then on that situation, then you already make a will telling your family member to pull off the mission. If I go into that condition, then just let me die naturally without depending on the mission. Also, not like kind of giving medicine to die right now, not like that. Just instructing them not to use the mission to sustain my life. Let me go naturally. In that position, then if you want to call that also in the category of one of the category of euthanasia, Buddhists can accept. At least I personally accept. I won't regard there's any creation of negative karma because of the power of compassion and the clarity of the wisdom, clarity of the actual situation. So you see, so like that. So on that basis, that if you say that this is also a kind of euthanasia, then if you ask me what is my position as a Buddhist practitioner, then my position is middle way. I disagree like a government or institution make a law for the to legal the euthanasia. I disagree. But I welcome and I accept and I support those individuals' choices on the basis of valid reasonings, as I mentioned before. So in that sense, my position is like in the middle part. Can you see that? In the middle part. And I have a reason for that. If you make, why I against, making into law, but at the same time, I accept individually making such decision as a virtue. Because if you make into law, if you make into legal, my concern is there's a danger of many people in the name of euthanasia. Many people may take, many people may misuse. Many people easily can take their life. Say just because of you are being impatient about some obstacle going into your life, and so easy to conclude your life in the name of euthanasia. Say I hate my life. My life is so much suffering. I want to end to my life and get me done euthanasia because it's legal. So my concern is that if you make it legal, there's a danger of people may misuse it. People, there may be there are many cases in ordinary platform or in our spiritual platform. There are many people that even doctors say that they're going to die within certain time, but people revive. People live for another 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I also know personally there are a few people like that. Doctor says, no way they will revive. It's dead. Just this much time. And there's a cases that the doctor say that she going to die within coming 3 months, and there's a spiritual master say, in my observation, my meditation says, no, your lifespan is not finished. Your lifespan is not finished. You're not going to die within 3 months. Yes, it's a big obstacle. You just need to clear the obstacle. You see? So the master perform some rituals, some clearing obstacles. If you don't clear the obstacle, you will. But if you clear this obstacle, you have another 20, 30 more years to live. And there are evidence. Even the people I know, that people live more than, I don't know, 30 over years, or, people are supposed to die within 3 months and live 30 over years more, so so at least give us some kind of like not easy to give up, If you make it illegal, I believe, I think quite easy, Especially you don't have that that spiritual support or your understanding about the preciousness of life. You say, anyway, I'm just going to live for, 3 months, and it's quite painful. Rather, I go now. There's a danger of making such kind of decisions. You see, so that's the main reason that making it illegal, I feel danger. That's why, if you ask me yes or no, I will say no. There's no vote from my side for that. But if one individual come and approach me, say, okay, I have this conditions. Even you put myself as example. The reason that I give in, yeah, I'm happy to do that. So something like that.
Achu was asking when your last few words, when you said you're happy to do that, means happy to accept the decisions of others to do the euthanasia, I think.
I'm happy to do that. Meaning it's for myself.
Oh.
Let's say my doctor 100% sign up that saying that in the position, let's say I hospitalized, and I had to go on to mission to sustain my life. But then my caretakers, my family members, I will already tell them, when I'm healthy. If in case if I go into that kind of position, then take away all the missions. Let me go naturally. But I don't know. I don't know in the euthanasia understanding whether pulling out the mission support is also against. I mean, it falls into anything, understanding of euthanasia, this and that or not. I have no idea. Like
from my limited understanding, that probably not considered euthanasia, because the euthanasia is the idea about an insertion of certain type of medicine to take an active action to end the life. Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, then I still, like I follow the middle way. Making legal is I have no confidence to say okay, because of my concern is people may misuse it and easy to take a life. If in case there's a chemically their natural life is not over yet, one thing. But then if individual in a compassionate circumstances by themselves, their choice, I will respect them.
Even with the what they call the voluntary assisted death, from my again very limited understanding, is that they also have some conditions. For example, doctor, like Geshe said, doctor certified that person has 6 months or less to live, and that person can make the decisions with full consciousness themselves. That's what I gather.
I see. Yeah, I mean, if that conscious decision is taken based on compassion, then with the motivation of compassion, even there is a negative, it would be like less negative. You see, but just because of you just want to, finish it, then I think the motivation is about end the life. to kill off from life. You see, so then that could create a more drastic karma, more drastic negative karma.
So I suppose, Geshe-la, it's so common with the vet that we put our pets into sleep. So again, our position should be the same.
Yeah, I think it's very much overwhelmed with the compassion. Then still commit some karma because but then again, there's also the benefit that the compassionate benefit, reducing the suffering, because compassion is about overcoming the suffering. So even that intention influence so much to the action that perform. So it's a very, very, very tricky, and I think that any way you do have to be done very mindfully, Yeah.
Just thank you, Geshe-la. I'm just checking whether anyone else has any related questions around that area, just in case. Okay, in that case, I might ask Geshe-la to give us more yummy cake about. I think in Buddhism, there are very rich teachings about the moments or the experience after the breathing stops into those dissolution stage and bardo and things like that. Would you please share with us in summary, what do we expect after critically when our breathing stops?
Yeah. So in Buddhist teaching, it's also the natural process. If someone has a clairvoyance or higher wisdom to see through consciousness, there are people like that. Even in ordinary people, due to their past accumulations of merits, wisdoms, they have such capability. So it's not just like Buddhists believe like that, but in actual fact, there's no such thing, not like that. So the death process, there's a growth and a subtle dissolution of the elements, our major elements, earth, water, fire, wind elements. Then after that, there's a dissolutions of the conceptual aggregates, which is called the 80 conceptual, dissolution or 80 conceptual thoughts. Then there's a dissolution of the white appearance, red appearance, and near black appearance. And then after that, then the clear light, as mentioned before. Then the clear light experiences comes in your way. So these are the process that happened during anyone going through the process of transition from life to death. And in Buddhist understanding, it is beneficial to study this different type of dissolutional experiences, so that when you actually occur, then you're able to utilize them into a training of your concentration, training of your attitudes, training of your wisdoms. if we don't know them, since it's the natural occurrence to anyone who are dying, it brings great fear, because it is very much like hallucinational occurrences to our mind in relation to those dissolutions. Our mind get confused, our mind get scared. Give an example. The first element, the dissolution of earth element, when someone is when someone is very near dying, the more subtle level of earth element start to dissolve. Even though the earth element, all the other elements, the major 4 elements are already start to dissolve since the day we conceive. You see, the moment we are conceived, there's a formation of all the elements. Then from that onward until to the last breath, all these elements, in actual strength of these elements is start to degenerate. That's why the first moment is birth. Second moment of birth onward is journey towards death, journey towards conclusion of the life. You see, but in our conventional understanding is until we become teenage, it's like everything grow. Even those elements we regard as a grow. Our physical body, is also a part of earth element. The physical body becomes stronger. You see our, fluid in our body, like blood, increases. So those are the water element. And then the heat in the body, the energy also grow, compared to baby and compared to teenage children, until then you grow. And those are fire elements. Then, our, what you call saturation, our breathing, all this, compared to little baby, the young adults, much more stronger, isn't it? It will grow. But in the spiritual understanding, in the actual understanding, next moment, all this already form when we are conceived. The moment father, mother's substance come together, and at that very same moment, so I think not really simultaneous. Father, mother's substance come together. Father's sperm, mother's egg. They meet together. Of course, that also has a certain there's a momentary. There's a time to really for 2 of them to join together, mix together. Then very much the moment it meets, then without delay, even a moment, the consciousness of the previous person or previous being enter into it. So the moment these 3 things come together, life form. That very moment, life form. And the life is very much formed on the basis of subtle elements, earth, water, fire, air, the subtle elements. So right there, even in the microscope, it's very hard to see the earth element, physical body, all these things, but already formed, even in that subtle basis of being, which we call the indestructible drop, which you receive from father, mother. In that indestructible drop, then your previous consciousness, continuum of your previous consciousness, live inside there. That's why you call indestructible drop. Once you enter there, until you die, it doesn't get distracted. It doesn't get disturbed or disappeared. That's why I call indestructible drop. So you see, so from that basis of the subtle element, then all the gross elements start to grow, like a physical body start to grow, blood start to more, then air, etc. But in the volume you see is growing, but actual life force is already start to dissolute. Start to experience the dissolution. But then more obvious dissolution we experience after we pass our youth. When maybe I don't know 30, 40, then we start to feel the dissolutions are quite obvious. Like our earth element, start to lose the muscle. Then here, initially like sharp like that, isn't it? So now here becomes sharp, here become more. so these are the sign of dissolution, earth element dissolution. Then of course water element. You got this problem, that problem. Like water, what do you call, skin dry. In your time, not really, but now our skin need a lot of moisturizer, butter. Otherwise, it's so easy to die. So these are already a very obvious sign, you see. Then, so easy to, get cold. So easy to get affected by, if you put a air condition fan a little bit, immediately get health problem. So easy to break our things, break our joints. Then when last time you can run marathon, but now, breathing problem, so all these are sign of very obvious sign of dissolutions. So now this dissolution will go more subtle, until reach to the point that the very subtle construction of our element is like gradually, dismantling it from gross to subtle. You see, and the subtlest point, which is, let's say someone experiencing natural death, and near death could be maybe about a month ahead, maybe about 1 month, or maybe can be about 1 week. Then you start to, hallucinate in relation to your body, like your body is kind of like pressed by like a Mount Meru. It's so heavy pressed, or you feel like your body is kind of like smashed in between, like two mountains, or your body is kind of like poked by, like chopped everywhere. You feel like everywhere pain, you're so pain, isn't it? Feel like someone beating you up, with so much that kind of experiences. Even though no one beating you up, you are not squeezed between mountain, but then you start to feel that you are hallucinated. And that is a sign that the subtle earth elements are dissolving. You see? So that much fear. So if you know in your understanding the different aspect of, gross to subtle aspect of the dissolution, then your awareness will interpret that this is the process of death, near death. So I don't have to fear. So I witness literally dying people that said, please help me, help me, something is pressing me, or something stepping on me, or it's falling onto me, like kind of like some very big object like falling onto them, like they scream, they fear. I witnessed that. You see, but actually it's just a hallucination. Yes, energy-wise, elemental-wise, is degenerating. Yes, but whatever hallucination that you're going through, in actual fact, is no such thing out there. You see, but the impact, your mind carried away by those you know factors that occur because of the death process, and people suffer so much. Okay, now the main point is the fear bring then strong aversions or strong attachment. That's the problem comes. Just hallucination is okay, it's still painful. If you understand the process, then you will say, oh, this is, it's a death process. Yes, I feel uncomfortable. Yes, I feel exhaustion, but I don't have to scare. I don't have to aversion to this. I don't have to, kind of like attach to, like now I'm losing my body or whatever, you see. So the problem is, delusion arises. The hallucination will trigger to delusion, and the delusion in during that time is a very powerful creation of completing karma, as I mentioned before, which will very much define what kind of intermediate state that you're going to experience. Worse than that, during the clear light experience, instead of able to utilize clear light, because you are completely confused, completely aversion, completely delusionalized, even the natural experience of clear light, which is very like kind of like a releasing a balloon in the vast space, free, like a bird fly in the vast space, free, but you don't feel the freeness. You completely, unnoticed of that free experience. Rather, you were completely caught up with, the hallucinational disturbances, and more than that, you create a karma, which is negative karma, because of the delusion arises that create the karma, karmic imprint, because the arising of delusion is itself is actions of creating, karma. You see, and that imprint from those actions, then that will determine what kind of journey one going to experience in intermediate state. And when you describe the suffering of intermediate state, is awful. It's unbelievable, frightening. So when someone pass away, when we make prayers, when we make prayers in the monasteries, or like how we pray, one of the very direct prayer is, may these dead people not to suffer the unimaginable sufferings that of the intermediate states. Yeah, the suffering of death is one thing, but the suffering of intermediate state that influenced by the suffering death is even more awful. You see, then after that, that is a direct cause. In the mind of the intermediate state is a direct cause for the rebirth. So rebirth, based on the understanding of karma, the stronger the delusion, the stronger the negative imprint, based on Buddhist understanding, hell, any action, the heaviest is to born in the hell, the medium born in hungry ghost, the lighter one born in animal realm. So can you imagine if born in hell realm, now when you learn, the description of the 8 hot hell, 8 cold hells, unbelievable. You see, then you learn about the hungry ghosts, unbelievable suffering. And just looking at the animal, animal realm, on top of the general suffering of samsara, the suffering of abuse, suffering of, domination, eating by each other. Always animals are, that, it's very much naturally live in the fear. You can see the animals, they are so sensitive of their ear compared to human. Human ones go sleep, even somebody knock your door or break your door, also some people sleep, The animals are so sensitive. So sensitive. You can check with your animals, a little bit, their ear tick like that one, insecurity, the fear that they carry because of the realm that they are in. And on top of that, the specific suffering of animal is suffering of ignorance. We think they're very cute, they are like, okay, they're happy, but the direct karma to make born as an animal, the main infusion is ignorant, and that live in a very dark world. You see, like a human, what kind of human being we born? Rich, poor, king, beggar, west, east, Himalaya, in near the ocean, wherever you're born, everyone experience suffering of not getting what you want and suffering of losing what you do not wish to lose, including king, isn't it? Because that is a specific karmic result of be born in a human being. When we born in a human being, general samsaric karma, general samsaric suffering is there. On top of the specific samsaric suffering for human beings. So similar, animal has a specific suffering, which is of being, it's even not nice to say the word dumb, but they are really, the suffering of dumbness is unbelievable, miserable. Compared to whatever suffering we human beings go through, the animal, they go through much more intense. It's so poor thing when you think about it. When you really think about it, you really need to hug them. You really need to care for them. Knowing their natural condition, that and you will put every single way to help them, because they don't have the ability to purify their karma, accumulate the merit like us, what we human beings have. So we, so in Buddhist practice, we chant mantra for them, we bless with holy objects, we ourselves try to, because we relate to that pets or animals, we practice well, and we dedicate all the merit first to your animals, because they are much more helpless than we human beings. You see, so like that. Okay, now where I am. Okay, so yes, yeah. So the karma is the heavier the delusion, then these different rebirths are determined. This is how karma works. You see, so therefore, it is so important that when this natural occurrence are coming in our way, immediately we should understand this is just a death process. I'm approaching to end of my these aggregates, so I shouldn't be feared. There's no such thing. Mountain is collapsing on me. It's just dissolution of my my earth elements. You see. So then, rather you focus on generation of, doing practice, doing prayers, or generation of compassion, meditative emptiness, whatever practice you rather focus on that. You see. So can you imagine someone is, near death, how weak that person going to be, isn't it? Right now you can eat full stomach, you can jump, still, it's so easy to forget, so easy to get distracted, isn't it? Eat full lunch, then what? You can boxing anywhere you like, and suddenly you open the news and you hear one bad news, or you on your phone and you got one bad news from your family, you collapse. You lose your concentration, isn't it? You lose, it's so easy to lose concentration, cannot focus. Can you imagine at the time of dying? It's the weakest point of our life, even you wish to eat full stomach of food, cannot go, even one spoon of food. Even you wish to jump until, reach to the sky, you cannot even jump 1 inch. that weakness, from every aspect of the body, that much weakness. And there's so much discomfort. You see, so your mind is like kind of like every single way, like kind of pull to distract, pull to, stray you. You see, so difficult to concentrate. So therefore, if we are not familiarized about the death process, and can be quite challenging. That's why in Buddhist teaching, say it's important for us to, it's kind of daily practice to meditate, to go through those death process. You say, okay, teaching will describe, okay, when the earth element dissolve, you have this kind of experience, you have that kind of experience, there's a like simultaneous experiences, you have that kind of awareness, this and that. So that means the more familiar you are, much more easier to remember, isn't it? You see, there's something that you make is so familiar, then even the weakest point, the first thing you will remember is that one. You see, so that way, the ultimate purpose is to protect ourselves from committing arising delusions, in particular aversion, anger is one of the worst things, or attachment grasping. Then not to commit the karma. So that's one of the main reasons. So like when the water element dissolve, the natural experience, just one example, you feel like you are drowning in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, like big ocean where there's no way to reach out. That kind. See? Then the fire element is as if like entire universe is on fire. We call the fire end of the eon, which is one of the most fearful, hottest. And you feel that you are like in that kind of state. You see, there's no such thing, but you're hallucinated by some natural factor of dissolution of your heat element. You see that? Well, wind element, like you are like right in the middle of like the heaviest tornado that ever can exist in the universe. Can you imagine? Even we have a little bit of wind, we feel fear. We feel like the roof going to take off. So can you imagine? You are like like put into a center of the heaviest tornado in the universe. How much fear you're going to have? But when you understand the death process, oh no, these are just, I'm just going through the process, So I shouldn't be fear. This is a hallucination. You at least recognize. Then worse than that, 80 conceptual thoughts. The hallucinational thoughts. Concept. Because in our life we accumulate unbelievable hallucinational concepts. You see, and because of the entire our energy is down, because approaching to the death, all the negative, the conceptual hallucination will start to manifest. It's like in the real 3D form, it's like a real 3D form, so that's why in Himalayas, in Tibet, there's a tradition of performing Lama dance. And in the Lama dance, there's a, very, 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 very nasty, wrathful masses. Some as some are like protectors, some as a demons, some as a gods, some as, but when looking at them is some, if you don't know the meaning, it's like, I mean, if you look at the art, it's wow, amazing art, but then sometimes can be quite scary, quite scary, holding, skull cup, and inside put a, actually it's a fly, put a red color, but the blood, brains. So it's like so scary. So in the past, the institutions like monastery institutions, they perform those Lama dance is to educate to ordinary people, at least have an imprint. Oh, I have seen before, actually where the conceptual hallucination occur, this kind of images, comes in your way because of the accumulation of so much hallucinations, and that manifest, you see, and sometimes, in a certain monastery institution, if they do properly, they usually guide the audience. You say, okay, today you people are here to watch the Lama dance. Some of them are protectors. Some of them are deities, which is your refuge, and some of them are those hallucinational imaginary that we usually see when we pass away from this life. Like during the experience of like the conceptual dissolutions at the time of dying. So these are hallucinational image. It may look like that, but there's no harm to you if you stay focused on your virtue. You see, but nowadays I hardly see people introduced that way. People just come as like Lama dance, and people who perform also, just like art, but usually there's a great meaning of performing the Lama dances. Is actually very skillful way, artistic way to educate the people like that. So anyway, the meaning is, yes, during the 80 conceptual thought dissolutions, all sort of, including occurrence of, we call the Lord of Death, and all the gods, the death gods, hell gods, yeah. So if you are not introduced, you will freak out, For us, sometimes, someone stranger come to your door, you freak out, No need the hell god need to come come into your way, Just, sometimes, dog, why you? Why scared? So, all sort of people sometimes, just knock your door, So when we are passing away, there will be many, unbelievable, scary ones who will knock your door. So as we know, then we are educated with that. Then we are so familiar. You will completely interpret as illusional, and which is very close to the right wisdom of emptiness. That's why many, not necessarily has to be great practitioner, but at least someone introduced with the emptiness. Whenever there's hallucination, everything interpret like illusional like. Everything is illusional like. I don't have to avert, I don't have to attach, I don't have to grasp. I rather focus what I need to focus. You see, so it is something that we need to train our practice from now. Then that you carry even at the time of death. Then all the way to the clear light. So like that. So as far as concerned with the white near appearance, red near appearance. So these are the dissolution of the subtle. It's a dissolution of the you see, not the subtlest, but subtle. The substance that we receive from Father, Mother. The white is referred to the what you receive from Father. Red is the mother's egg. You see, so there are so many different levels. The gross one, become blood, become bone, etc. And like a brain, etc. Then slightly somewhere, not the subtlest, but subtle one, it remain in the channels. It remain in the channels more to the crown level. It's also very much like more subtle, the complexity aspect of the brain. more subtle complexity aspect of the brain that start to dissolute, that start to degenerate. It is firmness start to lose. You see, so when that is losing, the hallucinational view is there's a white appearance. All your appearances become completely white. It's kind of very much like a splash you with the white paint in all through your senses, like flash, like that. So the thing is, internally that flash is happening internally. So it doesn't mean the whole brain is kind of melting, but those subtle it's very much chakra. In Buddhist, in our spiritual term, is that those subtle chakras are like a subtle chakra, not the gross nervous system, but subtle nervous system are losing it. So that white flash come out, you see, and you blank, you're completely blank out. You see, so so there, when you understand that I'm approaching very close to clear light, because clear light is the most exciting part. That's the that's the whole point. The whole life you're preparing for that, and now you say, now I'm near, and I cannot lose my focus, like that kind of thing. You see. So then the red appearances is very much the mother substance, the subtle energy, which very much remain around the navel chakra. Around the navel chakra, it start to dissolute or start to lose this chakra, the strength. Then the red flash occurs. Then everything becomes like kind of like redness. You see. Then when this red appearance and the white appearance through the natural process of the energy, the red one go up, the white one come down. Then they meet at the central chakra there, where the indestructible drop used to remain, where indestructible drop is there. The indestructible drop, as I mentioned at the beginning, this subtlest aspect of the father-mother's drop. Remember, subtlest aspect of the father-mother's energy. Father-mother energy grows to subtle. The subtlest one is the indestructible drop. Inside there's a light-bearing wind, which is a wind energy, where your mind, the mind is sustained in the places with the wind energy. So that's why you call the light-bearing wind. That light-bearing wind is the one that where the consciousness is. And that light-bearing wind is like kind of captured in this indestructible drop. So now the red occurrence and the white substance, when they come up, they hit the indestructible drop. It's like a two forceful energy come together, and in the middle there's one ball, pyong, like that, By hitting it, like kind of like you hit your head on the back, like you black off, isn't it? Similar way, the moment these two reach there, black out. So this is called the black near appearance. Is it black near appearance? Where black near appearance? As a practitioner, now you need to know, now the subtle father-mother substance is already reached to the indestructible drop. So that means clear light is just one moment ahead. My real excitement is just one moment ahead. You see? So otherwise you'll be like kind of black out, like I lost, like completely, like what happened? Black out. I mean, black out the light. You faint down. You get into trouble. I mean, you're scared, isn't it? Anything black out, you don't like it, isn't it? So here, you cannot get distracted because of that blackout. Rather, you should feel, oh, okay. Now I must even stronger concentration. You see, stronger concentration, you see. And meeting of the white and red to the indestructible drop is one of the most important factor, because that will make the indestructible drop to open. If these two didn't meet, if these two didn't hit the indestructible drop, you cannot experience clear light. Because clear light mind only experience when the indestructible drop open and the clear light, become kind of uncaptured. Or that's the time that you experience clear light. So that's why these two energy make possible to clear light mind to arise. Means these two substance is the reason that make our clear light mind, our most subtlest mind to be fully awakened, or fully aware. Our most subtlest state of mind get fully aware. Means it's almost like open our eye and literally perceiving the tangible object right in front of you. You cannot go mistake that this is crystal mala, not the other mala. You see. Now that defining is not met by any of the false mind, like such as our conceptual mind, because conceptual mind has a lot of faulty, false misconceptions. Now the clear light mind's perception cannot go wrong, because there's no influence of conceptual hallucinational pressure onto that clear light mind. As I mentioned before, the definition of clear light mind, remember? You see, it's really in the nature of absolute being, which is the emptiness nature. You see that the wisdom itself manifests, expressed to yourself in the actual the occurrence of the ultimate nature, which our ordinary mind cannot display that. You see. So now, so using your meditational trained mind, that you are like right at the doorstep to experience the clear light. Right at the doorstep to experience the clear light. When the first experience of clear light, the natural one is voidness and bliss. Void and bliss. The moment that clear light experience, the moment that open, the natural experience is void and bliss. But now you as a practitioner, you already know what kind of experience that you're going to experience. You already know, isn't it? So you see, so the moment the natural occurrence come, you say, yes, this is it. This is the ultimate nature. This is it. Like you don't even have to interpret clear light, emptiness, bliss. You completely immerse. Like drip of water. Put into a water. Like two water you mix together. Two pure water mixed together. So your clear awareness of the knowledge, or the clear awareness of the wisdom of emptiness, just simply kind of like emerge with the natural occurrence of the ultimate nature, which is the union of bliss and emptiness. So now there, if you have already done so much purification in life, so much accumulation of merit in life, right there, the best benefit, you actualize Dharmakaya. That union of bliss and emptiness is the state of Dharmakaya. You literally enlighten. If that is, in lifetime that we haven't purified much, we haven't accumulated much merit, then, but quite a lot, then there you realize emptiness directly. Whole life you learn about emptiness, you accumulate so much merit, purify your karmas in so many ways. Okay, so now, all the understanding of emptiness here, you really experience in realization. That also sustainable realization. See, sustainable realization. So right there, now you really know. No wonder, emptiness sounds so yummy, but really now I can feel it. Really I can feel it. Everybody talks about chocolate. I never try because I'm from Himalaya, never taste chocolate. Now I'm in Australia, someone give me chocolate. I say, no wonder chocolate. Everybody says so yummy. It's really, really, yes, I can feel it. You see? So I go back to Himalaya. I tell everybody, remember, everybody talk about that chocolate. I tasted it, so yummy. Then one villager come and tell me, how it tastes. How? He says, so delicious. No, I want to know the deliciousness. I want to know the deliciousness. He said, it's so delicious, so yummy. He said, no, I want to know the yumminess. They say, yeah, it is, I have not much to say, isn't it? It's not sour. Because I finished my words, I already say yummy, I already say so sweet, so delicious. But now if I need to explain to you, I can only say it's not sour, it is not awful, but still, you see, you can't able to express in word what you really have experienced. The chocolate, isn't it? Only when you put the chocolate in your mouth, then you can feel it exactly. Everyone talk about this emptiness, how delicious it is, how amazing it is, how blissful it is, how voidness is, how vast it is, until you experience by yourself. This is the word that we have to just go round and round. And that's the time that you really can taste that real yumminess. But then after that, when I see you, I ask you, you may not able to say properly in the word, but you experience all the benefit, you see. So, so in another way, you see, again, I went a different way. So you see, so the main point is, the correct meaning of emptiness. Say, if you are, of course, we hope for the enlightenment, Dharmakaya. If not, at least I want to realize emptiness directly there. See, so for that, now we use our gross senses, gross intelligence to learn the correct definition of emptiness, analyze it, try to habituate, meditate as much as possible. So when the natural, the actual characteristic occur in your most subtle state of the mind, and there you just simply recognize it, be aware of it, and that itself can able to bring the benefit, that realization of emptiness. So this is the benefit, benefit that you can take when we experience the clear light. You see, so but to reach to that point, if we are not prepared, there's so much obstacle on the path. As I already mentioned, there's so much obstacle, hallucination obstacles, you see, etc. So like that. Yeah, so something like that.
Thank you, Geshe.
Okay.
As you were talking, we had 3 requests of questions, but I can see now already slightly past 5. Is it okay we ask those questions?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
So we have Didi. Would you like to ask yourself? You can unmute yourself and you ask your question.
Hi, Geshe.
Hello.
You mentioned multiple times the concept of natural death. And so I was just thinking, when a doctor resuscitates someone, like that natural death is interrupted because resuscitation basically means the person has died, right? And then they get revived. And then so I get as a practitioner, should we just be looking at that when the person when the practitioner or the person gets revived, like is that more time to prepare for death, even if like the extension has resulted in karmic suffering, for example, like paralysis or like brain damage because of the lack of the oxygen because the person has technically died. And you know, as you point out, a good reasoning for euthanasia requires like 100% fatality guarantee, but something like brain damage or paralysis that's survivable. And you know, you talk about the deliciousness of death in a way, and so it's like, you know, they've been snatched from almost that deliciousness. Like how, what should be our I guess mentality towards an event like that?
Okay. Someone, I hope I understand all the questions, the point. So reviving, yeah, someone revive.
Yeah.
So that's what yeah. So someone revive. So so that means the most likely the earlier the experience of near death or almost, I mean, occur the clinical death, that could be the we call the experience of untimely death. Then the second round, to live a life. Then after that, go through the death process could also be possible as the timely death. So the timely death is the natural death. Untimely death is it can be very much due to the external conditional causes, not very much of the past defined karma, the karma which already defined when you're going to die, but very much the circumstances, the conditional causes that make person to, like go into maybe accident, and clinically even thought that it's already dead, but then revive. So so when someone able to live almost conventionally, second life, of course, that is meaningful, isn't it? Even one moment extra can able to live in this precious human body. So that's one thing. Another thing is, but if the precious human rebirth is misused, be harmful, then also in Buddhist, there are Buddhist prayers and Buddhist practices that it is more harmful to live than transit to a new rebirth. There are also such if your life is harmful to many beings or harmful to others, which naturally become harmful to yourself because of the karma. So then, by transiting to new rebirth, it can, the environmentally, there may be better kind of life possible. So it's a quite complex, possible, something like that. So I think Okay, straightforward. And you asked me the question straightforward, yes or no. You tell me. I think I didn't really.
Yeah, I don't think it's straightforward. I mean, I'm curious what you thought, like the mentality should be to approach a situation like that. So
I see. Yeah. So
yeah,
mentality, I think again maybe yeah, like as before, if the person's life is beneficial to the to himself or herself for accumulating virtues, then definitely to celebrate. And it's beneficial for others, then even more celebration. But then if someone revive a life, that is harmful for yourself, committing more negative karma and harmful to the society, then it's a bit unfortunate to someone, revive.
right. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Venerable Lindy has a question from the live stream platform.
Okay, there's a question from our friend Kerry, who asks you, what happens to a being if the mother has a miscarriage before the baby is fully formed and the baby dies before it grows properly? Does that being return back to the bardo? And was it their karma to only live a short while in their mother's womb?
So there may be a few different reasons, I think, according with how the karma play the role. There are beings that who take the human rebirth and then have a very limited life, comparison to the general lifespan of the human being. Then in many of those cases could be the previous life human being, many cases can be the uninterrupted karmic result of someone as a human being before, the previous life, and occur untimely death. Then the remaining time period of life, to complete, reborn as a human being again, then that time period could be just maybe few, even a few moments in the womb, a few months in the womb, or even, few years after even come to birth. So many interpret, in this understanding. And they are also possible of not necessarily has to be immediate karmic result, uninterrupted karmic result of the past life, immediate past life. It could be also many other lifetimes, they be interrupted with other realms. So they come back to the human realm to, complete their remaining life. So there are many cases also like that, regarded as like that. Yeah, so there are many beings also, there are many beings who die. Another case is case could be experiencing untimely death. Could be a fresh new creation of karma within this lifetime. The timely death is defined by the past lifetime karma, but because of the environmental karmic circumstances, then you occur accident to cause life untimely, like through many of like cases like accident or die in the war, etc. Or yeah, something like that, so they experience untimely death, and this kind of untimely death in yeah, that kind of being who experience such untimely death in this life, very much possibility of taking another human rebirth, but then just to come to complete the remaining life of of the past lifetimes karmic defined life, defined death. So even you reborn as a new person, then the life may not be that long, So there are many like that. Yeah, I have there's one practitioner have asked me before. It says whether Buddhist way allowed us to have our ashes scattered in the mountains instead of placing in the columbarium or temple. Yes, in Buddhist practices, yes, there are many kind of rituals, after someone pass away, cremation, burial, feeding, like charity to vultures, or it's very rare, but also like feed to maybe like fishes or whatever. Then, if you do cremation, then in Tibetan Buddhist culture, very much the remaining ashes are bring to the very high pure mountains, and they're scattered. They don't have an urn to keep. They don't keep at home, or they don't keep in a temple. It's the keeping in temple in the urn is very much, I think, practice in the Chinese Buddhist culture. In Tibetan Buddhist culture, you hardly ordinary people, you hardly see they are put in the urn, or usually their remainings are not kept in the house. Or if it's holy beings, or even to the ordinary people, if the family can afford, family understand, then they create stupas. They build stupas in the mountains, or it can be on the street. It can be on your land, can be in freehold lands. They build stupa to host the ashes there, or they build stupa. The stupa that build mixed with the ashes, with the mud, with the cement or the mud. They mix with the ashes and they build stupa out of it. There are also the ashes mixed with the clay and make a tata out of it. The image of Buddhas. If you want to dedicate specifically for purification practice, then you make tata of Vajrasattva, such tata of Mitupa, and tata of stupas, like can be any stupa, but mostly they make the cremation stupa. From the 8 stupa, there's one for cremation stupa. People also do make enlightenment stupa. So then the tatas you can host in the stupa. Stupa is very much, there are many stupas are like a house for those holy objects like tatas. So, or otherwise, the tatas in Himalaya, you will see that they bring to a, unreachable, very difficult to reach by people, or walk on by people. So you put the tatas into the rocks, into the mountains like that. But if you want to do that, then if you want to make satsa or stupa out of it, or horse into stupa, those ashes need to be consecrated. There's particular practice called ritual, consecrating, or the ritual practice to purify and bless the remains of the bones and ashes. So in Tibetan we call ritual. So you need to perform that before you make satsa. Yeah, and those are regarded very meaningful to do. People put great effort to do that, which is regarded very beneficial for the diseased person. One of the benefit is by doing so, the spirit won't attach back to their remains. Then the second benefit is for them to purify their karma. Third benefit is for them to actualize the enlightenment of enlightenment of that person, the diseased person. So that's one thing. Another thing is you can, without mixing the ashes, you can also build stupa for the diseased person. You can also make chatsas for the diseased person. In the name of the diseased person, you can make, in Himalaya, in Tibet, it's a very, 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 you can say quite common practice. If someone passed away, then, if possible, family members can make 100,000 satsas or mitupa, 100,000 satsas, or maybe mixed deities, mitupa, bodhisattvas, stupas, etc. Or there are some retreaters, like people who do ngondo, satsang ngondo practice. So they need to do satsang, so that you can sponsor these ngondo retreaters for them to make the satsang. So they also fulfill the satsang making ngondo, and the people who need help, their help to make the satsang for your diseased family, and you sponsor, you sponsor all the expenses. It can take years, or it can take months, years, like that. And in some monasteries and some nunneries, sometimes they also do as a preliminary, but they also offer as a service to do satsang for you, satsang for you. And it is very hard to do in the monasteries and in the city, but in Himalayas it still may be possible in some places. Then there's ashes that in Himalayas they also throw into running river. That river run for that travel for very far. And pure river, wherever you are throwing, pure river. So the main understanding is to scatter in the high pure mountain and in the pure stream, pure river, long running river, is to impact the rebirth of that person, to be born in a very what to say, very favorable cars, favorable places, with a very respected kind of family, very pure, families, like not to be born in the wrong places, so there are many reasons like that. Yeah, but if the ashes want to throw in the river also, you need to do the consecration first. Yeah. I think something like that.
Thank you. Melanie, you want to ask the next question now?
If in case any individual, if you are busy, if you're tired, you can sign off. You can rest. And those are not busy, those like to carry on question and answer, I'm okay.
Okay. Geshe, I have another question from the live feed from our friend Trent, and he asks, Geshe, does having a sudden death affect the chances of a precious human rebirth in a way sudden death might affect our progression through the bardos, and our thoughts and meditation at our time of death may not be virtuous?
Not necessary. Not necessary, because whether it's sudden death or whether it's a long, a long dying process, is very much depend on the individual person's habitual capability of their training in their lifetime. If they have a good training, then they can do the meditation in any circumstances, because the death process is occurrence to anybody in any circumstances. Even how short it is, the entire death experiences comes. Of course, if you die naturally in the longer procession, of course it's much more easier to prepare. So if someone is not so well in the practice, then yeah, of course, for lengthy processes actually is better.
Thank you. Alison is the next, please.
Hi, Geshe.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. When someone is dying and we want to make them more comfortable, what do you think about giving them medication to help them more comfortable? Will that affect their karma with their suffering? And
no, I think it's okay. Medication is to make more comfortable, as long as the medication, that's something that which don't hallucinate their mind, not add things to hallucinate their mind. But as long as so you can communicate with the person, if by giving certain dose, make them ease from their pain, but then they can concentrate more on their practice, then good. But by giving the medicine, if they just like knock off, cannot think, or if their mind get hallucinated, then as a practitioner, these are not helpful. So I think good to communicate, good to know. Like as I mentioned before, the physical suffering that what we see is a very, very, very superficial. You see, there's a deeper level than that. Yeah. Anyway.
If I may, sorry, have you finished, Alison?
Yeah, you got a good answer. Okay.
Yeah. Just in relation to that, quickly, if I'm not wrong, a lot of the painkillers, they are pretty drowsy. They make people feel drowsy and they couldn't be on their normal state of natural mental state.
Yeah, so it depends. Okay, yes, that's right. But sometimes the physical pain can be very, very painful. It's so drastic that until that it really distracts from your concentration. If the medicine helps to reduce that pain, and it will be helpful for the mind to be concentrated on the practice. So in that case, even the nature of the meditation is drowsy one, but still assist the person to be more able to focus on the practice, then you should choose the medicine.
Okay, thank you, Geshe.
Thank you.
I have a last question from Caroline. I'll just
Sure.
read out the message first. After death, what happens if you can't remember the different horrible events you will go through due to being brain dead, for instance?
I think the most important is, when we are alive, the habitual imprints are the one that play a very important role. Then, fortunately, that hopeful for everyone, before our brain dead, that we at least have something to kind of alert us to remember to prepare, remember to design our mind, remember to motivate our mind. Then after that, brain dead doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all. In fact, even our memory doesn't matter. Our usual memory of memorization of all these terms, all these different dead process, all this doesn't matter. You don't remember them, doesn't matter, because those are beneficial until our gross consciousness are intact. After our gross consciousness gone away, naturally our subconsciousness become awake. And our subconsciousness is very much what kind of subconsciousness will be utilized based on the imprint that what we have. The stronger the imprint, whichever area that we have a strong imprint, those imprint will be ripened. You see, so so no need to worry at all. So that's why our effort, our practitioner as our effort. Whatever practice you do today, tomorrow you forget. Don't worry, let it forget. But today you must practice. Right now you have full mindfulness. Right now, full focus on practice. Doesn't matter. Next moment, you forget everything. Doesn't matter, because you already left the imprint in your subconscious. You see, so that's what matters. That's why when you practice, try to practice with concentration. Try to practice in a meditational level. That's the way to leave as strong imprint as possible, as deeper, as more subtle as possible. Because meditation is the pathway. Meditation is the kind of like a channel that which help to leave the imprint to the as subtle as possible. So if you do more concentrated meditation, the imprint lead to the more subtle consciousness. You just do meditate, blah 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 blah, like no, a lot of distraction. Then yes, you did meditation. You're able to leave some imprint, but not able to leave imprint to the most trustworthy consciousness, which is the subtle consciousness. You may be able to leave to the maybe secondary one. The secondary one, it can be useful, cannot be useful. You don't know, you see. So this is the thing. So don't worry. So another point is, I usually used to give an example of like a switch to the light in the room. You see, as long as you make sure when you build a house, you make sure you get either yourself or someone really know how to put the correct electricity, correct wiring, correct switch, reliable switch, some more reliable switch, But then after that, you forget. It doesn't matter, let's say you buy a new home, don't even know which direction the wires are put, isn't it? But since the house is built properly with a qualified, technician, so the lights are functioning well. So now you only need to know is the switch. You just know the switch. So you just hold onto the switch. So even in the darkest period, as long as, you can't see anything, as long as you know where the switch is, you on the switch, entire thing comes in your way, isn't it? Similar way, before we pass away, before our brain dead, before we that's why even like many people die in the sleep. So before we go to sleep, the most familiar practice that try to at least remember that. It's like remembering the switch. Rest of the time, You've been reciting sutra, also left imprint. Listen to all the teaching, you leave imprint, like today, you know, blah 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 blah. Oh, we all accumulate imprint. You see, and later you may, most of you forget. It doesn't matter, forget it. But the switch is, each and every one of us is a unique, you know, each and every one of us have our own interests, our own practice, and we have our key practice, isn't it? Could be Guru devotion, could be emptiness, could be bodhicitta, could be compassion, could be just remembering of all the time Om Mani Padme Hum, remembering of Buddha's eye, remembering of syllable Om, can be anything. On that, try to remember possible again and again and all the time. You know why? You know, by understanding the fact, death is certain, time of death is uncertain. Accident could happen anytime, death could happen anytime. Whenever you're aware, let's say emptiness, I take the emptiness as my key, my switch. You know, I try to remember emptiness as if the next moment my brain going to be dead. So at least I know the switch, so I already own the switch. You see? So or at least I know the switch. So I you know, if my brain dead is like occurring gradually, then just moment before the brain dead, I switch on quickly. The rest, don't worry, our imprint will be taken care. Because all the imprint, everything is like a well-qualified professional technician, you know, put all the wire properly. So like a Lamrim, you know, Lama Tsongkhapa already did all the job, putting wires in the right place, you know, put the right light bulbs, you know, Lama Tsongkhapa, Lamrim, you know, Lamrim, all the teaching, you know, he's professional, you know. And also we able to learn from our teachers with the correct Dharma. And we did make sure we listen carefully, we learn carefully, we try our best to repeat it again and again and again. And that's our job, and we leave all the imprint. Okay, so the only thing is the switch. So yeah, this is good question, because many people they freak out at the end because they don't remember any of the practice they learned before. They start to fade everything. You know, people freak out, and this answer has to be very, very clearly to let the practitioner know that you have worked whole life. Don't worry about whatever forgets. It's all a gross mind. Your subconscious mind is like a fixed deposit bank. Keep your capital there. You can use it later, you know. Yeah, but if you forget the password, the bank account number, then of course everything will be wiped out. It's also, isn't it? I recently heard, you know, somewhere in the West, very rich person, but forgot the password and lost millions of dollars. I heard something like that. How true, I don't know. So this is similar, you know. We also, there's a danger of, like, you see, at the crucial time, we don't remember one familiar Dharma is like exactly like losing the password. Even you have so many important things that you kept, but losing the password, you know, and to find the password, maybe we may need to go through so many different realms, many countless in lifetime, you know, you know, then maybe one professional, you know, fix the computer hard disk, you know, then when we meet the guru, then guru will fix the hard disk, then only got the new password to enter, then it takes a long time. So this life, we cannot forget the password, or we cannot forget the switch. Carolyn, you asked this question, isn't it? No worries. You have done your very best. You know, you have put so much effort, you know, chanting mantra, reading sutras, discussions, you know. Yes, sometimes I want to be very frank. You know, sometimes you fall asleep, you know, I still rejoice. When I saw you last time in Wagga Wagga, you know, you listen, you fall asleep. I say, wow, I rejoice. You still, you know, accumulate so much. So don't worry, okay? And continue to practice. Whenever, you see. And for generally, for all of us, as I mentioned before, whenever our awareness is awake, immediately, at least, remember that one key, the practice, or it could be any of them. You can have many Guru devotion. You can think of Guru, think of Buddha, and maybe that can be your spiritual journey safer. Maybe that could be the kind of like the key to your clear light, to utilize the clear light, because many of us already been practicing from past lifetimes. We were kind of like get distracted, and this life also like blah blah only. Maybe we already have so much imprint, and maybe we just forgot the password, and we just have to retrieve the password. You see, so that's why I think this life, for me, I would say I cannot afford to lose password again. So that's why like very kind of like if other people see you, it's like you are so anxious, you are so impatient, like every time you try to remember, every time you remember emptiness, while eating, remember, while going to toilet, remember, while walking, also remember. But the reality is, while walking, you may die. While in the toilet, you may die. While in the sleep, you may die. Or your brain can go dead, isn't it? So, like that. I give you one example. You see, reciting all the time, the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. You see, you can see in the Himalayas, almost all the the earlier generation, or also many sanghas, you can see, like Om Mani Padme Hum, all the time, every single free time, unless they're talking. But sometimes even they're talking, their hand is still going on like that. Means one of the awareness is still aware of Om Mani Padme Hum or Cherezek. So this person suddenly accident or pass away, he or she already switch on. See. So I think we also, I think slowly, it is quite a new culture to the West. If you carry mala or if you chant Om Mani Padme Hum around the street, people will think you're crazy, But nowadays I see, I think no problem. People put an earphone, small one, and suddenly if you are not aware of the earphone, I see people like talking for themselves, blah, 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 blah. But actually they have earphone, they're talking with somebody. Is it? So similar we can do, we Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. If you think that people will find you strange, you put earphone, fake earphone, people think you're talking to somebody. Everywhere you go, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Why not? Isn't it? Because even I also, saw somebody, I didn't realize they got earphone. I thought this person maybe something wrong. He's talking to himself, like all the way, quite loud also. But later I found his one, black earphone he was hanging here, small one. and realized he's talking to people. Then I say, oh, it's normal. So if you go to Nepal, in Himalaya, Tibet, if you don't chant, then people find you are a bit abnormal. If you don't chant, if you don't hold mala, you're a bit abnormal. You see? But I think there's a great meaning there, great meaning, great switch. Okay. So if you want to stop, we can stop anytime, yeah?
Yeah, thank you. Can you lead us to a short dedication before we finish?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for the session. And we discussed on karma. So therefore,
Okay.
we collectively accumulate so much merits, and individually also. And also we rejoice in all the merits and virtues of the past, present, future Buddhas. Then collectively, we dedicate that for the cause of numberless sentient beings to be free from any form of sufferings and its causes, and actualize temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness and enlightenment. May this collective merit be complete cause. This pandemic around the world be overcome, or the cure be most effective. May this collective merit be complete cause. All the natural disasters that are happening around the world be pacified, and all the political crisis that are happening around the world also be pacified. May this collective merit be complete cause. Anyone who have health issues, physically, mentally, or experiencing financial difficulties, relationship problems, whatever they may be, our merit be complete cause to heal them. May they be able to live peace and happy and meaningful life. May this collective merit be complete cause. All the people who pass away, all the beings who pass away, particularly those beings who pass away in the last 49 days, be free from the suffering of death, suffering of intermediate state, suffering of rebirth, and actualize higher rebirth in the Buddha's pure realm. And right there, within that very lifetime, they actualize state of full enlightenment of that very Buddhas. May this collective merit be complete cause. All the world leaders, leaders of the organizations, and leaders of family, and yourself who lead your life, be free from negative emotions like anger, attachment, grasping, jealousy, ego, pride, etc., and equip, actualize all the wisdom of selfless, attitude of loving kindness, compassion, forgiveness, etc., so that anyone under their leadership can able to enjoy peace and happiness. May this quality merit be complete cause. All the good people in this world, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, all your spiritual gurus, and yourself, your family members, always enjoy good health, long life, and fulfill all your aspirations accordingly. May this collective merit be complete cause. All the virtuous institutions like monasteries, nunneries, all the Dharma centers, like such as Potowa Study Group and Chag Tong Chen Tong Center, and all the other Dharma institutions, be free from inner outer secret obstacles and actualize all the conducive conditions to preserve the virtue, the compassion, the Dharma in most extensive learning and actualizations of the stages of the path up to enlightenment accordingly. May this collective merit be complete cause. May we too able to, practice like the, divine beings, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, to be the cause of peace and happiness of the world, and it is a sentient being. The dedicator ourselves, the merit and the purpose that we dedicate, all lies in the nature of interdependent rising and emptiness. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again for making
Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you,
Stay safe.
Matthew.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Geshe-la.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Steph.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.